Why do they do this? They always discontinue the best perfumes. Let's talk about some iconic discontinued perfumes. Perfumes that broke my heart. Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name is Diana and I am a fragrance enthusiast who has been collecting fragrances over the last 5 years. Here on this channel we talk about all fragrances. It doesn't matter if it's niche, designer or Middle Eastern. The ultimate goal is just to smell good and feel good. So the other day I saw this tag popping up from multiple creators. I saw it from Chichi, from Jamie, and I think also from Liz, and likely from some other creators as well that I don't recall. Sorry if I didn't mention your name. And I thought that, yeah, I would like to recreate this video because I have a unique take on it, and I thought that I have a couple of very interesting fragrances that I've always wanted to share with you. So let's start with my very first perfume obsession from my teenage years. The year was around 2005, a long time ago, and I remember that I was in a small drugstore with one of my friends. I was looking at the cheaper perfumes that were on the display, and I found a bottle with a pink cap from Puma, or Puma, I don't know. At that time, I did not know anything about perfumes, right? Or even perfume houses. But I knew Puma from the shoes, the brand. So I thought, let's try the perfume. And oh my god, it was so different. It was not as pink smelling as I expected. It was fresh, but floral and woody at the same time. But of course, at that time, I was not able to describe a scent. I had no idea about different perfume notes. Yeah, I only knew that it was different and it was like me. So I bought Puma Flowing and it became eventually my everyday perfume during the early 2000s. Then time has passed and it got sadly discontinued. But when I got into perfumes somewhere about 5-ish years ago, this vague memory sparked my mind that I remember this perfume and I have to have it. And after about 2 years of search, I managed to find this 50 ml bottle in original cellophane packaging with a batch code from 2008. And the guy who was selling it was selling it for like 60 euros, which was higher than the original price, but I would have paid much more for it. And yes, it smells exactly how I remembered. Now I know that it has violet, raspberry, iris, mimosa, freesia, vanilla, and sandalwood. And for just the record, it has violet and raspberry. And just remember or think of how many releases we had with these notes the last few months or a year. I guess trends have a continuous cycle. But the scent is powdery, very delicate, floral with that hint of raspberry, which will give a fresh kick on the top. And it dries down into a very comforting vanilla sandalwood base. It is just a beautiful scent with a lot of lovely memories. By the way, how do you like the background? I changed it up because I figured that that greenish color was washing me out. So I bought 2 LED lights and now I'm gonna be playing with some colors. Let me know if you like it. But also let's move on, otherwise this video will be super long. So the next perfume that I would like to mention is from Zadig and Voltaire. Now, everyone is talking about This Is Her, and no doubt it is a great perfume. But I really do miss their old Girls Can line. They used to have 3 fragrances as part of this line. Girls can be crazy, girls can do anything, girls can say anything. Do you remember them? So out of the 3, the perfume that I liked the most is Girls Can Say Anything. It is a very beautiful, powdery iris fragrance with a lot of vanilla, musk, and tonka beans. And did you know that the nose behind this was Quentin Biche? Also, next to the powderiness here, I also smell something fruity. And again, I smell something peachy, and I've been smelling so many fragrances with peach notes. But it is not listed in the notes. So I'm thinking that likely the peonies, the iris, and maybe some other notes together smell like that powdery fruit. So what I really love that even though this perfume has been discontinued quite long ago, it already had the very same DNA that their modern line has, like Zadig, which is over there. And talking about Zadig, they came out with a new intense version of it, with an added vinyl note. So I'm going to definitely smell it as it sounds super intriguing, and I may bring a review of it. But going back to Girls Can Say Anything, I don't necessarily have like any memories attached to this perfume, but all three of them just smell simple and nice. Luckily, I have a backup bottle of Girls Can Say Anything and Girls Can Be Crazy as well, so I'm gonna be good for a while. The next one is also a hidden gem, and I remember blind buying it when it was being already discontinued. When I got into fragrances first, I believe Ylang in Gold from Micallef was one of the first niche perfumes that I sampled. Of course, I fell in love with it and it started a long-term relationship with this house. So when I saw that a couple of their perfumes were heavily discounted, then I got Mon Parfum Cristal from Micallef. It was, I think, like 40 euros on their website. This is the small 30 ml bottle, by the way. And I remember that I was like, yeah, the notes sound nice and the bottle is super pretty. So what can go wrong? So I blind bought it. And luckily, nothing has gone wrong. It is one of the most beautiful rose vanilla perfumes with some pepperiness in the top and some added toffee, amber, and musk in the base. The rose is just so juicy that it almost has some fruitiness as well. And the added toffee makes the scent super sweet, but luckily it doesn't go into that burnt caramel direction. I know that I keep talking about this perfume because it's just so beautiful, so feminine, so classy. And I have a confession here. I love this one more than the Delinas. And yes, I said it. Don't unsubscribe. For me, this one is better than Delina. So, luckily, I managed to snag another 3 small bottles, and now I'm okay, but still, it is just sad that it got discontinued. The closest thing that I found is Dior Rose Star, which was released somewhere last year. I would say they are about 95% close, where Rose Star is a bit spicier in the top and it has a tiny bit of a lighter texture. But if you are like me and you miss Mon Parfum Cristal, then get your nose on Rose Star. I have 2 more fragrances here with me, so let's move on to another rose perfume, but something completely different. It is Florabotanica from Balenciaga. And this was also something that I heard of shortly after it got discontinued, but luckily it was still available on some discounter websites. So I blind bought it as everyone was saying that it was a great perfume, and I fell for the hype. But I have to say, at that time, my nose was not ready for this. I remember spraying it a few times and then I put it back into my closet. And I'm gonna be honest, I kind of forgot about it. But last year, when we had a couple of very, very super warm days, guess what? I took it out to play with it. And it was just such a beautiful aromatic rose scent. Really nothing like anything in my collection. We have a mint note in the top, and it gives a very unique freshness to the composition. And usually I'm quite scared of minty fragrances, but in this one, the mint is very nicely blended. The same applies to the cannabis note, which is even a bit more controversial. But it adds some kind of greenness that will ensure that the perfume doesn't go too heavy or cloying. So basically, last year I wore it a good couple of days straight, and then it hit me. This is my first and last bottle of it. And you know how it works. If I know that I cannot get it anymore, I just don't use it, which is stupid, I know. So I promise myself that I will enjoy it as long as it lasts, and I will take it out to play next spring and summer as well. And finally, the last one. I already featured it in one of my best vanilla perfumes video in the winter, and it is none other than Manifesto from YSL. This is just a beautiful woody vanilla perfume, which is also the victim of being discontinued and also being saved and not used by me. I only have this one bottle of it, and I really don't want to use it up. However, I could, as I truly enjoy this perfume. It has some fruity freshness in the top that's coming from the bergamot and the blackcurrant. And this fruitiness will be enveloped by the jasmine and the lily of the valley as well. But eventually, the base is the real star of the show with a lot of vanilla, tonka bean, and sandalwood. The dry down is just beautiful, cozy, and comforting. Really, it is just a shame that Manifesto is not with us anymore. I remember wearing it on one particular Christmas event at work, and it was a blast. We were playing some games, had some drinks, and also I remember that I was smelling good and I was feeling incredibly confident. But yeah, it was a while ago. I really wish YSL would bring this back in its original glory. But now it's time for you to share your favorite discontinued perfumes in the comments. I know that a lot of people miss, for example, Sea Fiori, and guess what? I never smelled it. So, yeah, what do you miss the most? And why? Let's start a conversation in the comments. If you enjoy Perfume Talk and you like perfume reviews, then also consider to subscribe because I'm bringing you fragrance content at least 2 times a week. Sometimes it's even more. So until the next time, bye bye.